Hello and welcome back. Regal Smith here. And today we're going to talk about something kind of fun. We're going to talk about essential oils to support your personal Enneagram. And an Enneagram is just a type of personality. There's one of 9 different personalities that people usually tend to identify more with. And when we understand where that is, we can help develop and enhance our strengths and gifts naturally. And there are some essential oils that work even better with those types to help bring you even more in balance and live your best life. So I'm going to share my screen. I know I don't often on these YouTube videos use a PowerPoint, but this has a lot of really cool information that you may want to screenshot. Some of it may be newer. So I want to make sure you have all the information visually be available to you. So essential oils for your Enneagram. First off, what is the Enneagram? It's a typology of 9 interconnected personality types. And this goes back to ancient times. There isn't a consensus of where this actually came from. My background, my undergrad was in psychology, and I remember being fascinated about learning about the way people are different and how they think and how they develop their core inner beliefs. And it's something that the Enneagram has gone back to ancient times, but they haven't been able to pinpoint exactly where they really think it came from. But there's basically 9 types: a reformer, which is also sometimes called the perfectionist; helper, achiever, individualist, investigator, loyalist, enthusiast, challenger, and peacemaker. And in between each of these 9, you'll see different lines that kind of interconnect, right? Because we're all interconnected in a way. And you can look up more information online about the Enneagram if you want to dive really deep. This is going to be a very basic overview, but you can see kind of what those lines mean and how they intersect and how we feel when we're in balance or out of balance, and really what those connections truly mean, because we are a little bit of all of them, right? So some of these you're going to hear and you're thinking, yeah, I'm that one, no, maybe that one. Well, we're all of them, but there's usually one that is more dominant, and that's what we're going to focus on today. So no type is better than the other or any worse. It's just different, right? Each of us is extremely unique. So you may be a number 9 peacekeeper and your neighbor may be a number 9 peacekeeper, but it displays very differently because you may have different wings, which are what are on the other sides that can be more dominant. You may have different lines. But just as a basic overview, we're going to talk about the one dominant one, and your goal is to be your best self, not to strive to imitate others or become another type. The descriptions are not gender biased. They apply equally to males and females, and we typically don't switch from one basic personality type to another. So there's usually a dominant one that sticks with us for a majority, if not all of our life. So why does this matter? Understanding this type will help aid in self-awareness, better understanding. Sometimes when you understand this, because it's more rooted in your internal reactions versus externally, so like the internal core, sometimes when we understand at a deeper level what these are, we can then understand our internal triggers a little better and how to enhance our strengths. So if you do not know your type, you can just Google free Enneagram test online. There are lots of them available. I've taken a few. The one that I liked the best was on personalitypath.com, and it was free to take. There was an option to buy a huge extended version at the end, but I did not choose to buy anything, and I didn't have to give my email address, which was really nice. And I felt that it gave me a really good, thorough overview of my number 1, and then a short overview of my number 2 and number 3 types. So I highly recommend personalitypath.com if you want to take one of those tests. So you may pause this video and take it now, or you can listen and go through this and think about maybe which one you think you are, and then go take the test and see if you're correct. A quick breakdown of the 9 types. We have, number 1 is principle-based. They're really focused on purpose. Sometimes they're called the perfectionist. Number 2 is typically a helper, and they're very generous and giving. Type 3 is adaptive. They're typically an achiever type. Type 4 is usually artistic, very creative and unique. Type 5 are thinkers. They're very logical. Number 6 is the most common type, and they are the loyalists. They like traditions. They like security and comfort. Number 7 are our spontaneous dreamers. Number 8 are usually the natural leaders, and type 9 are our harmonizers. So these are not intended to separate. It's just to help us better understand pieces of ourselves. So as we go through this, if you already know your type, just, I know sometimes we all want to listen to get to our number 9 type or whatever type we are, but I invite you to listen to the other types and think about who in your life you think might be identifying with some of those core values. That's kind of fun to do. And when I talk about the oils, which is really my passion and expertise, you will hear some of the oils, even if they're not specifically for your type, that would still benefit some of your needs. So do keep that in mind as we go through this today. All right, so we're going to learn about each type briefly and highlight oils for each. Let's rock this out. Number 1, the reformer. This is sometimes also called the perfectionist. They like things done in a certain way. They are high valued. They have high core beliefs. They are tolerant, self-accepting. They're content with the world around them. They're very responsible. I think about somebody as a type 1, like that's who I want. If I want my wedding very detailed in a perfect way, I want to hire a number 1 to get it down because I know that they're going to not miss a single step. And so with each of these types, we can be imbalanced when we're at our best. And then you're going to see on the right hand of the screen what happens if we're imbalanced. So if we're under stress, we can feel imbalanced in these roles. And so an imbalanced type 1 might feel judgmental or critical or uncompromising. They may feel like they're not good enough at their core. So here are 6 oils that can help keep the type 1 in balance. Motivate. This would be a great one to diffuse if you're working on a big project, you want to get those juices flowing, get ideas going. Arise is from the yoga collection. It's the enlightening blend. This is one that helps us connect with our inner voice. This is a good one to use before meditation, prayer, yoga, or just some thoughtfulness that helps us really connect with the inner knowing. Another one is sacred devotion. This is an extremely grounding oil. It's a Hawaiian sandalwood. And you're going to notice on each of these oils, it has the name of the oil on the bottle, but then you see sacred devotion next to the Hawaiian sandalwood and enlightening next to arise. Those are the emotional benefits of those oils. And if you want to learn more about the emotional benefits, there's a book called Essential Oils and Emotions, I believe, and I'll link it in the YouTube description. You can get it on Amazon, and it goes really deeper into the emotional benefits of each of the oils because they all have their unique properties. So bergamot, this is the oil of self-acceptance. This is one that I would highly recommend diffusing in your workspace or office if your work life feels imbalanced or very stressful. So it's a mood elevator. We also have neroli, which is the oil of shared purpose and partnership. This helps to encourage tolerance in others. Also, side note, it is great for hormonal support. It's been called the baby maker on our team, so just be aware of that. And then finally, wintergreen is the oil of surrender. This helps with not only physical, but emotional pain, and it helps you to release things that are outside of your control. So we're going to move on to type 2. Type 2 is the helper. This is somebody who is generous, they're giving, they're likable. They are somebody you can rely on. You can call at any time. They're empathetic. They help to protect others. This is my husband's dominant type. He is definitely the helper. You can call him for anything. He will help strangers on the internet anytime he sees them post questions, and he will be at your side in a minute. So at their best, they are unconditionally supportive, they are humble, they practice self-care, but if they are imbalanced and stressed, they may expect something in return for helping, they may be manipulative, they may put their own needs aside. This is something I see with sometimes in motherhood, where some very dominant number 2s in motherhood put all the needs of their kids first and they let go of their own needs. And then they can also feel taken advantage of. So here are 6 oils to help bring balance to a type 2. So number 1 is coriander. This is the oil of integrity. This helps us to focus on serving others, but not neglecting our own needs. It is also an oil that is really good for increasing serotonin and the happiness hormone in our brain. We think oftentimes of citrus oils doing that, but Emily Wright with doTERRA says that coriander is actually the happiest oil that doTERRA has, which is surprising to many people. Number 2 is balance. This is a great one to help feel grounded. If you're feeling anxious or worried about something, throw some balance on your feet, behind your ears. This is good for all types, not just type number 2. Third one would be our anchor blend. This is from the yoga collection. This is for steadying. This is another version of balance. This helps us to feel trusted and supported and seen. Number 4 would be Siberian fir. This is the oil of aging and perspective. This helps to remind individuals that they're valuable and needed. Another cool thing about all of fir oils, including Siberian fir, is they help support the respiratory system. So a great one to diffuse for respiratory stuff, especially during fall and winter months. Grapefruit is number 5. This is the oil of honoring one's body. If you felt like you have let your body go or you're not happy with your body, it is the oil of honoring one's body. So get that in the diffuser, get a few drops in your water, drink it as needed, and it will help you feel that connection with your body in a healthy way again. And number 6, similarly, bergamot. This is the oil of self-acceptance and helps you to accept and love yourself unconditionally. So type 3 is our achievers. They're ambitious, goal oriented. They're always working on something. They're adaptive, focused, high energy, and competitive. So at their best, they're going to be highly focused, optimistic, confident, balanced in work and home. This is something I see a lot of achievers have imbalance in, is that home work balance. I can identify with that as well at times in the past. When they are stressed, they are opportunistic. That means they're going from one thing to the next. Uncaring and detached from emotions, so they cut themselves off at times. Over-identified with perceived image, so they're really aware of how people perceive them, and that affects their feelings of themselves, and works defines who they are. So achievers can come back into balance with some oils for support. Number 1 would be green mandarin. This is the oil of pure potential. So if you're overcome with feelings of doubt or failure, get your green mandarin in your diffuser, put a few drops in water, and just soak some of that in. Pink pepper, number 2, is intrinsic equality. So if you're caught in the comparison game, this is really common for 3s, is to kind of look and see what others are doing and comparing. Get that pink pepper on. You can apply it topically. You can breathe it in and use it in that way. Number 3, oil of abundance. I love this oil for all the types. It's universally liked. Wild orange, it smells amazing. It's a mood elevator, and it's the oil of abundance. Who doesn't want more of that? So this is one that gets diffused often in our home, and we love to combine it with balance oil. Number 4, Melissa oil. This encourages us to keep going. It's the oil of light in darkness. If you are feeling in the dark depths of your emotions, put some Melissa under your tongue. Put a drop under your tongue as often as needed. Sometimes I recommend people do that every day for 21 days, a drop under your tongue, and watch what will happen. It's also physically the oil of light. So if you have some really deep discomfort, you can put this topically where that discomfort is, and it will help to eliminate that as well. So cumin is an oil that's a limited edition, so you might not be able to purchase it if you don't already have it, but it's balanced ambition. And this is great if you are just in overdrive and wanting to kind of balance out your home life balance. You can cook with some cumin, you can put it in your diffuser and use it in that manner. And then finally, adaptive, the oil of adaptability. I would say this is really good for all types as well. And this just helps us to adapt to the ever-changing stressors of life. Number 4, the individualist. These tend to be artists. They're not always artists, but they're artistic, they're unique, they really embrace their own uniqueness, what makes them different from others, and that helps them shine and feel purpose. They are purpose-driven. They can sometimes be sensitive, so they feel very deeply. At their best, they're authentic, content, sensitive to others, and find purpose for talents. When they are imbalanced and stressed, they may feel misunderstood, temperamental, melancholy, so feel really sad, and they may take life too seriously in those moments. So here's how we can stay balanced as a 4, some oils that may help. Number 1, lemongrass. This is the oil of cleansing. It cleanses your physical space and energetically. If I have had somebody in my home that might not energetically align with me, I get my lemongrass diffusing immediately. If I need to clean out a closet, lemongrass, springtime, lemongrass, it's kind of all that transition. Another oil that you could use, also not a regular item, but sometimes this is a free gift on LRP, or sometimes it's offered as a limited edition oil, is kumquat. It's the oil of authentic presence. So that helps you feel that authenticity that's within your soul and anchor your identity in truth. Another one is Roman chamomile. This is for spiritual purpose. It helps to search for inspiration and meaning. This would be a great one to apply to your third eye before meditation or prayer, or even on the bottoms of your feet to help have a deeper night of sleep as you connect with that purpose. Number 4, tangerine, the oil of spontaneity, helps to lift out of that melancholy mood and lightens the heart. It's a fun oil. It's zesty, just like our number 5, which is lime, the oil of zest for life. So a lot of citrus going on here. We have 3 citrus oils on this page. So this is great if you are feeling like you're taking life too seriously. Put some lime in your diffuser, a drop in your water, and you're good to go. And then finally, Daviana. This is also a limited edition oil that you can't currently purchase, but if you have some on your shelf, this is great for inhibited flow. So if you want to feel that flow again, put it specifically on your neck where your thyroid is. It also helps with hormones and thyroids, but it helps to give confidence and courage to follow passion and purpose. So moving on to type number 5, the investigator. These are logicals, they're thinkers, they spend a lot of time in their head figuring out the world. They need to know, understand, they are knowledge driven. These people know things. They sometimes are your walking encyclopedia. They have the facts, and they also have a vision to conserve for the future. So at their best, they're independent, mindful, and visionary. But when they're stressed and imbalanced, they can appear disconnected, intellectually arrogant, and emotionally detached. So here are a few oils to help bring our 5 into balance. We have rosemary, the oil of knowledge and transition. So this is great to assist in that knowledge. You can put it on the back of your neck. It's also really good for studying and focus time, and it will help support the knowledge and transition. Cedarwood is the oil of community. Sometimes our 5s can feel disconnected from others because they may be in the logical part of their brain and thinking. So if you're feeling disconnected, get some cedarwood in the diffuser, put it over your heart, and it is the oil of community to help to bring us together. You think about like the cedar woods and the forest, they don't grow single trees, they grow together. Elevation. Elevation is currently discontinued from doTERRA. They discontinued it because of being responsible with sourcing. There are some oils that they cannot sustainably maintain sourcing, so they're not going to continue to produce them, which I love about doTERRA. So hopefully they'll reformulate it and get it back for us. But in the meantime, if you have elevation, it is the oil of joy, and it helps to uplift when you are feeling emotionally drained. If you don't have elevation, you could try citrus bliss. That's another citrus oil that is also a mood elevator. Next, Litsea. This is a limited edition oil. You can't always find it. Sometimes it's available in some other markets, but if you can get your hand on Litsea, love it. It is the oil of manifestation. I tend to diffuse it a lot in December, January, February, kind of that winter rebirth that happens for me around that time of year, and things start to manifest. I like to put it in diffuser blends and roller bottom blends because it's the oil of manifestation to help us follow through on our visions for the future. Next, we have Hawaiian sandalwood, which is the oil of sacred devotion. It helps to quiet the mind. So sometimes our 5s can be really in our head, a lot of thinking. So a little bit of the Hawaiian sandalwood can kind of quiet the mind and anchor the body. And then finally, peace. It's the oil of reassurance. It helps to find peace and solace after overwhelming social interactions. So perhaps if being around a lot of people is a lot, get some peace oil on before and after and help to calm the autonomic nervous system and the brain. So number 6, the loyalist. These are people who love tradition, they're loyal, they're devoted to values and duties. They speak out for what they believe in. They're prepared to alert the world around them. They respect rules and authority. They also respect feeling secure and safe, and they love to collaborate and be a team player. I think about a loyalist as like a retriever, golden retriever, or a lab, right? Those type of dogs are super loyal. They're loving. They just show up with a big smile on their face. And apparently this is the largest category in the 9 types, is the loyalist. So at their best, they're courageous. They trust themselves. They're prepared. When they're stressed, they may worry excessively, put up walls, feel anxious, or be overly skeptical. So here are some oils for the loyalist. We have number 1, neroli, shared purpose and partnerships, helps with tolerance and seeing the best in others. So maybe if you're feeling disconnected with others for some reason, neroli might be a good one to roll over your heart. Marjoram, the oil of connection. This helps us to trust in our relationships. So if you're feeling, once again, a break in those relationships, because a loyalist does like to feel connection and connected to others and trust, get some marjoram. On a side note, marjoram is also great for any type of soft tissue discomfort. So if you're feeling tense, maybe from an emotional interaction or a physical interaction, put a little bit of marjoram on that space or a couple drops in your bath. Number 3, yarrow palm oil. This is yarrow in pomegranate seed oil. It's for energetic safety. This is an oil that I love specifically for hormone balancing and skin. So I'm using it every day, every day. I didn't know that it was for energetic safety. I just knew it made my skin look great. So after cleansing, toning, I put yarrow palm on straight up, undiluted, because it's in that pomegranate seed oil, followed by moisturizer. And apparently, not only does it make my skin look awesome, but it helps to shield individuals from taking on emotional baggages of the world. Amen. Thank you. I need that sometimes. So check out the yarrow palm. Number 4 is spearmint, the oil of confident speech. So this is a great one to rub on the front of your throat if you are feeling a little bit of congestion or not speaking your truth. This is something I used to use when I first started public speaking. I would do lavender, which is the oil of communication, combined with spearmint, and put it on my throat before any type of speaking engagement. Number 5, geranium, the oil of love and trust. It breaks down emotional walls. When I started with doTERRA, it was one of the oils I was so drawn to. I used it every single day over my heart and on my face, because at that time I had really significant cystic acne. I used some other doTERRA things as well. But that combination, I think some of that may have been emotional. It was definitely physical. I had physical stuff going on, but that geranium, man, breaks down those emotional walls. I love geranium and rose oil. And then finally, peppermint, the oil of the buoyant heart. So if you're worrying, this is a great one to pop into the diffuser. It reminds you to be happy and that worrying does not bring the solution. So a little peppermint on your temples, if you feel that pounding in your head, is great for all types. And then a little bit of peppermint. And for our house, we like peppermint and frankincense in the diffuser. Number 7, the enthusiasts. They are optimistic, love new opportunities, great dreamers. They have vision, they value freedom, future-oriented, and learn through doing. I think about these people as like the van life people, right? Or just having a really big vision and dreams, and they're so charismatic, it's almost contagious. At their best, they feel content, future-oriented, productive, focused, and engaged and stimulated. When they are stressed or imbalanced, they may leave tasks unfinished as they bounce from one project to the next. They get bored easily and may move on to the next thing. They may overcommit and they may not listen to others when they are in a stressed state, which I think is all of us. So here are 6 oils to help the enthusiast type 7 to stay in balance. So vetiver, this is the oil of centering. So if you are feeling scattered, oh my goodness, put 1 drop of vetiver on the bottom of your big toe. This is great for anyone who has trouble sleeping. I have found it to be one of the most effective sleep oils. You can combine it with lavender or serenity oil, but something about that vetiver just calms autonomic nervous system and brings peace. So vetiver to balance and ground. We also have cypress, which is the oil of motion flow. 7s are just going and coming, and this is a great one for motion and flow. It also helps support the bladder. If you think about that, that's the very logical physical flow. The literal physical flow from our body comes from our bladder, and it helps with flexibility and trusting the flow of life. Lemon, number 3, the oil of focus. This uplifts when boredom sets in. It helps us to stay focused, and also it's a citrus oil, so it's naturally mood elevating. Number 4, the inner child. It brings simplicity and allows one to shift from sorrow or boredom to a more childlike curiosity of new opportunities. So if you feel like your inner child is being constricted and it's not bringing you joy, get some ylang-ylang over your heart, breathe it in, and let that inner child come out to play. Number 5, patchouli, the oil of physicality. This is grounding and stabilizing. This is really good for the brain. You can put a little bit right on the back of your neck, right under your brainstem, to help support that stabilizing and grounding. This is also great for people who have had any type of trauma to their brain and might need help refocusing. Blends with patchouli, including the Intune, which is next, are great for brain support. So in tune is the oil of focus. It is called the oil of presence sometimes. It can bring the daydreamer back to reality. Also a really great one for little kids that might have wandering minds that would like to focus for a little time, especially at school. So in tune is a great one to put on the back of the neck for that as well. Number 8, the challenger. These are natural born leaders. Sometimes they need to feel in control, take charge. They're protective of their people, their thoughts, their beliefs. They want to make an impact. They are very purpose driven, make decisions quickly, and follow their gut instincts. At their best, they are deeply caring, confident, decisive, and when they're stressed, they may be emotionally detached, act too quickly, and don't pause to listen to others. So how can we support these number 8s, these natural leaders? We can use some of these oils. So number 1, rose oil, which is my number 1 favorite doTERRA oil. I use it every single day, every day. It's the oil of divine love. So as the type 8s can sometimes seem confrontational because they're so passionate about what they believe in their life and they're trying to make an impact, they can use rose oil on the heart to restore some of those feelings and teach their heart to be open to others. Clary sage is the oil of clarity and vision. This is a great one before meditation, prayer, goal setting. Apply it right over your forehead, over your third eye to connect and to open up to allow what you can see or have available to you right now that you may not have already been aware of. Number 3, juniper berry. This is the oil of night. It helps to reveal hidden fears and vulnerabilities and help to face them head on. So if there are some fears, especially if they're coming up in dreams, diffuse juniper berry with whatever sleep oils you like, lavender, cedarwood, but add juniper berry, especially for dreams that have fears, and that works really well for kids as well. Number 4, cilantro. This is the oil of releasing control. Some people are very adverse to cilantro, and sometimes that's because it's the oil of releasing control. And some of those people, not all, it triggers that emotional response of releasing, and not everyone's at that point ready to release. It helps to emotionally detox and release control and burdens. So a friend of mine who is a person who is a very natural leader, she loves to be in charge of everything, says in all of her roller blends with her oil, she puts a tiny toothpick full of cilantro to help with that need to release control and just to allow. So that's a great oil to start to incorporate. Number 5, the oil of calm and communication is lavender. It encourages emotional honesty and allows to open up to the opinions of others. And I shared this is a lavender and the spearmint combo that I used to use before public speaking. And that's exactly one of the reasons I used to do that. And number 6, frankincense, the oil of truth. It helps us get in touch with feelings. It helps to ground us. When in doubt, use frankincense. No matter what your type is, it will bring some grounding and healing to your life. And finally, type 9, the peacemakers. These are the harmonizers. They want to bring peace and happiness. They're easy to get along with, stable. They avoid conflict, understanding, patience, and supportive. At their best, they're open, receptive, and connected and close to people. But when they are stressed and out of balance, they may sacrifice their own needs to avoid conflict. They may be overly passive and non-assertive, and they may lose the ability to say no. So peacemakers, here are some oils that may help bring peace back to your life. So blue tansy is the oil of inspired action. So it helps you to transform your situation and reconnect. So there is a fun thing that sometimes we run in our doTERRA team that we do the blue tansy challenge. So every day for the month that you put a drop of blue tansy on your big toe, which if you look at reflexology, that's linked to your brain. And what blue tansy does is helps to reignite that inspired action. So if you're putting that on your brain point, on your toe, it sounds silly, but dang, we have blue toes all month because the oil is blue. It doesn't stay blue, but and we just get stuff done. So that's a great thing to do in January if you're thinking about taking inspired action, whether it's with your business, your health, a personal goal. Get some blue tansy and use it in that way. Side note, also awesome, a few drops in your doTERRA hydrating cream for your skincare routine. It does some wonders for your skin. Number 2, thyme oil. It's releasing and forgiving. It helps to cleanse emotionally, This is an oil that you could diffuse, although it's a very strong smelling. I would put it in a roller blend and put it on the bottoms of my feet. It's also very supportive to the immune system. So maybe throw it in with some On Guard and make it your immune blend for the season and use it on the bottoms of your feet. Number 3, this is a limited edition oil that you can't purchase. So if you have it on hand, Hinoki is an oil that is the natural harmony blend, which is really what the peacemakers do, is they bring harmony wherever they go. And so that's a great oil to use in a roller bottle blend or diffuser blend for your own personal use. Number 4, clove, the oils of boundaries. So if you have difficulty establishing boundaries, get some clove in the diffuser, combine it with cinnamon or some of those other warm oils that smell so good, ginger, and help to set yourself some boundaries and say no when it's appropriate for you. Oh, and speaking of, number 5, ginger, the oil of empowerment. So combine that with boundaries. So empowerment and boundaries, that would be a very magical combination of clove, ginger, maybe throw a little wild orange in there for uplifting, maybe cinnamon for some spiciness, but that'll help empower your own responsibility to speak up. And then finally, lemongrass, the oil of cleansing. So it shows you how to empathize and release negative energies. We shared a little bit about lemongrass and how that was a great one to diffuse when somebody has their bodies in your physical energetic space and you want to diffuse that a little bit, or if you want to clean a closet because it's the oil of cleansing. So I hope that was helpful just to get a basic understanding of the 9 types. You can find more information about this anywhere online about Enneagrams, but specific to the essential oils, I am going to have my blog listed below, blissmama.com. So bliss, like feeling bliss and happiness, blissmama.com. And I will link specifically my Enneagram and essential oil blog. I will have all the graphics that you just saw. So you can take your pictures, you can take your oil blends and get a little bit more information that way. And hopefully that's helpful for you. And I would love in the comments, if you want to share your type, your dominant type, I'd love to hear about that. And if you are not yet saving 25% or more on your doTERRA oils and you need a doTERRA wholesale account for free, let me know or shop on my Bliss Mama website, which will also be linked in the bottom, and we can get you set up with your first starter kit. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.